Hello everyone and welcome to LSI F1 World Championship. We're today for the Austrian Grand Prix round 2 out of 16 already. Let's see what we can get done today. The Austrian Grand Prix, the home Grand Prix of this team right here, Red Bull, who are leading the Constructors' Championship after round 1 with this guy, Sidewinder. Wow, that was an incredible race last time around in Monza. Very, up and down, exciting regardless, and he's very happy, I'm sure, after that one. Of course, on the grid we also have Mizzy, a reserve driver for today's race. We've got the two AlphaTauris who are back again. Nifajan has a lack of experience. They might not actually do too much qualifying. Well, they might not compete in qualifying. I say lack of experience, I lack of practice is what I mean. Of course, Zingy as well. Heisler, the other Red Bull driver, is he going setting the pace so far? Then we have Igapro, Cisco, and Luke, who's going to be driving in the Mercedes. His teammate said they were going to be here. Don't know if they are going to make it or not. We'll have to wait and see if they can make it. JJ also might reserve later on if he can make it, but I don't quite know. Now, that is Sidewinder immediately taking it away from Cisco, Heisler, and Mizzy. So Sidewinder staying on top right now. We do have other drivers on laps at the moment, however. That is a purple sector there for Zingy. Let's see what he can do. Are we going to have anybody else also on the lap? We've got Luke behind Zingy. So watch on board with Zingy first, the reigning champion, of course. And then we'll head over to watch on board with the Mercedes right after. Or we'll just stay on board with Zingy right now. He's not too far behind Luke, so he will cross the line pretty soon afterwards as well. Anyway, riding that curve heavily, big mistake as they make a tactical judgment to go on to that exit curve. I don't know if it's going to be any faster. The track limits, of course, it can be abused in theory. Unfortunately, it wasn't stated in the briefing. He goes and puts it on the pole position. Luke immediately takes it away. I tried to get to him there to look as he crossed the line, but he was a little bit too quick for me. Well done to Luke to get ahead immediately. Zingy was there for a moment, but not anymore. Now, like I was saying, that turn 9 to 10 track limit. Can't go and do overtakes there. I would like to say that you can't extend it, but unfortunately, because I didn't mention it in the briefing, in theory, it's not illegal. Take that as you will. Obviously, if somebody decides to go and use it in a very unsportsmanlike manner by just using it all the time really aggressively, then we're probably gonna do something about it. However, especially for qualifying, it's not going to be regulated. The pit lane entry is going to be regulated. You have to have at least 2 wheels within. The pit lane exit, however, is not regulated. You are free to cross it as much as you like. Lots of people into the pit lane as the session was overcast. That's what it started with. Now it's gone to a more light cloud situation. Is Igapro going for another run here, or are they going to be going into the pit lane? Looks like they're probably going into the pit lane. Everybody is at the moment, and then we'll try and see if we can find anybody else who might be coming out for the second run of the session. They're probably going to have 3 if they do get a second run in. The truck's going to slightly get warmed up. I should rejoin the session after disconnecting just a moment ago. Now, looks like everybody's pretty much in the pit lane at the moment. There's literally no point going out at the moment. You let the track just kind of like warm up a bit. With the new, with the weather conditions progressing or improving, I should say. Yeah, so completely quiet at the moment. Looking at standings from last time around, of course, Nifo having that major issue. Sidewinder takes that P1, their first win in the F1 tier. So it's a very good day for them. Heisler, of course, scoring points in that race, so they do put the Red Bulls on the top. Zingy went and got a P2 in the end after Kaspersky getting a post-race penalty for an incident on the pit lane exit. Then Kaspersky, of course, in P3. I think that was, yeah, Igapro narrowly He might have actually managed to get a podium out of Castle Sky. I'm not quite sure. He might have actually. I think he might have. So, Castle Sky or Eager Pro on the podium from that race. And then, of course, we had... I think it was Eichler after that in P5. Can't quite remember. This guy, though, the championship leader, on his way out. Let's see if we can have 2 good races in a row for him. He was very, very consistent. And that's what got him that victory last time around. Needs to try and find it again. Very aggressive on the rear, on the throttle there. Really trying to throw the car around a little bit. We've got Eager Pro also on a lap here. We've been here recently at Austria. We've been here pretty recently, which does mean that some of the drivers will have already some experience, practice with their setups maybe, a bit more refined. So we could see a mix of things happening here. Maybe they'll have tried to go for something a bit different. High downforce, low downforce, it can work either way. If you can really be quick enough in the middle sector with high downforce, you might be able to be far ahead enough for the other sectors. But generally, low downforce is the way to go. How low you want to go is something that is up to the driver to explore. And yeah, we're going to be looking wing-wise, it's going to be near 10, the 10 zone of each wing, basically. Trying to give his teammate a bit of a slipstream. It was some, and it did kind of work. It wasn't a massive amount, but it still is something, as he did, I think, lose the car just a little bit on the rear, but still, we'll see if he can improve later on into the lap as we head through sector 2 into turn 4. Very difficult to get right. You can easily lock up and miss the apex. Managed to get to the curb nicely. Does it throw them off? Not too much into 4th gear. Try and get the throttle on smoothly. Short shift to 5th if you need to. On the exit, bit on the throttle. Up by 2/10 here. Would this be enough? It would be enough to put them on provisional pole, it looks like, as they go around the final corners. What's it going to be, and will it be enough to put them on the top step for now, as they're so close to the track limits across the final corner, across the line? What's it going to be? And it is going to be a provisional pole. Lovely stuff. 3/10 in the end. Well done indeed. We've still got a lot more time to gain for these guys. We've got Zingy on a lap as well. Let's see what he can do, as he does have a bit of an understeering moment on the bump on the entry to turn 3. Very easy to get wrong, and they have shown us very much so as we head into turn 4. Very strong around this circuit last time around. Nifo did win in the end, as they did battle pretty hard with Zingy. Zingy unfortunately getting a couple post-race penalties afterwards, but you know, it happens sometimes. Currently improving by just under 2/10 here. This would be enough to put them into the lead, more or less. They still probably want a bit more time to try and keep it safe. They go over the track limits, they keep it off and just make sure that they don't invalidate, so fair enough to them. They do go provisional pole, and they gain massive amount of time, half a second in that final sector. They probably gained about 3/10 alone, so that is an absolutely mega final sector there. A 4.4. We've still got a bit more time to gain, I reckon. I think we can go to a 4. I'm going to say 2, but I don't know. That might be a little bit under or over ambitious. I'm not quite sure. Well, a quick double check, as he does go invalid, unfortunately, in that final corner. That is the worst place to invalidate, because you have to do a whole in-lap and waste a bit of time. So Luke pushing for it there. It's not quite worked out. He's still got plenty of time in this session to go again, though, so it's not the end of the world, of course. Nifajan is out looking for a quali lap. Didn't expect that one. Let's see what they can do. They've got a limited amount of time. Still enough for 2 runs, however. They've still got enough for 2 runs. It might be a little bit hurried, but something is better than nothing, of course. Heischler set, I believe, a recent time of a P4, as they got very, very close to Luke's time, but they didn't get close enough to improve ahead of them. Luke is on cue to improve, of course, though, so would it have lasted that long? We do not know for sure. Now, Nifo going for their first run of the session. We will watch on board with them as everybody else, of course, is going into the pit lane. Now, lots of people have already done 2 runs. Nifo's only going to have chance to do 2 runs overall, as they do make a mistake, unfortunately, on the curb, and little practice. We're going to let them off. We're going to let them off. They still have enough for another run. Probably not 2 runs, although they could overfuel the car a little bit, do 1 run, do a cooldown lap, and then another one. It's always a possibility. We got Eager Pro in P6. This has generally been a good track for him pace-wise. Got a podium in the sprint race. But unfortunately, when it comes to just races, maybe you could say feature races, but like the proper thing, he always has some really bad luck. Gets crashed into by another car when being in a good position. So, Eager Pro, this is a track that he just seems to be naturally very, very good at, but always has the worst luck. Let's hope that that ends today and that he's good at it and has no luck. Not the other way around. I want him to have good luck. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Alrighty. Let's see what we can get from Eager Pro. DRS available to turn 1. We shall go. Let's see where they break. About 75 meters, more or less, riding that curb, but lost the car. They're going to back off and maybe go again or go into the pit lane. They didn't think that it was worth going or carrying on with that lap. Very easy to lose it there, and it will pretty much deem you completely invalid. Not invalid, but obviously the lap's just going to be so down on time, it's not worth improving. You've got that entire straight to try and get through. Now, Nifo does try to go out again, and to be honest, tyre warming at this circuit's not exactly easy. They decide to go into the pit lane anyway. So what I'm saying is, by staying out, it's not exactly the worst thing, because you can get the tyres nicer up to temperature. They've decided to go in anyway, so they haven't set a competitive lap time for now, but maybe we can see them do something a little bit later on. Now, Eager Pro is going again, and we'll see what they can do. This is probably going to be their final run of the session. This is going to be for their final grid position as well, of course. No surprise there. DRS available, a bit more of a smoother exit. Slightly more conservative, but nice and smooth, and it's obviously going to help their time gain a little bit later on into the straight. They're actually pretty much dead on, so, you know, that's not too unheard of around this circuit if you do nail that first corner. Now, through to turn 4. Let's see, into sector 3 as well we will go. Missing the curb, but still, that can be a strategy as you don't threaten losing the car on the rear, so they should be good here. Into the second sector, into, like, it's not really an S section, but it's kind of is. It's just a more corny part. 2.5 tenths almost purple in that middle sector. Lovely stuff. Let's see what Eager Pro can do then in the final few corners. Send it through absolutely to the limit. Do everything you possibly can, minimizing the track distance at the same time. And it wasn't an improvement position-wise. They've gone purple, but they haven't improved position-wise. That's going to be it for Eager Pro. If they have enough fuel in the car, they'll be able to go again. But they've already done 2 runs, so that's probably going to be pretty much it for Eager Pro there. And that is a heck of a shame. They improved, but not enough. Their teammate on an outlap to try and improve as well. We've got Luke. Oh, hi. No, that was Cisco off the circuit. We've got Luke going to try and improve. For the final time this session, he wants to try and go for that pole position. Very, very quick in Great Britain. When we last saw him, of course, he got pole and won that race. I believe he also got fastest lap as well. That's his first win in LSI. Let's try and make it 2 here today for him. No sprint race, though. It's just going to be outright getting it done. He was in the fight, I believe, for the... Oh, no. I think they actually raced in Austria. They might have actually. I don't know. I can't quite remember. I don't know if they were racing behind the guys and lost the car, or if they were not in it at all. Once again, purple middle sector. That might be a bug. That might be legit. We'll never know. The Astons are ahead, but they're not going to impede Luke. Luke comes around the final corner. What's it going to be? Is it going to be enough for pole position? This is what he wants. Will it happen? And it is going to be on pole position. Lovely stuff. Zingy's going to try and improve here to see if he can get that grid position. Who just moved up there? Was that Mizzy getting up the order? So lovely, lovely stuff from them. We've got Niffo going to try and go for another run as well. See if they can try and jump themselves up at least into the mid-pack. No! Losing the car goes Zingy. And that's going to be qualifying over. I do not believe it. I do not believe it. Ah, what a shame. What a shame. Zingy is going to have a bit of trouble. And that's not going to be pole position anytime soon. We've got Sidewinder who wants to try and improve. They're improving by a small amount right now. Niffo, of course, comes round, not the final corner. They've got a bit more to go before they get to that stage. Cisco, however, I believe they are going to finish their lap. Is EcoPro going for one final run? I think they attempted it. No, they're going into the pit lane. Cisco will not improve time or position-wise. Sidewinder still trying to look for the final few tenths. Maybe he can push the Zingy, but no, loses the car, and that is going to be qualifying done for him. Heisler, I believe they recently set a lap time, says they're improving at the moment. Is it going to be enough to actually improve them overall? I don't quite know. Coming through into Sector 3, they are improving by a tenth. Let's see where this puts them. Final few corners to go through, and this will be qualifying sorted. Heisler into turn 9, send it through right that curb, try not to invalidate, but they do. Ah, what a shame. What a shame. What lap would it have been anyway? Let's see. It'd have been a 0.689. Heck of a session to start off tonight's event. Lovely, lovely stuff. Luke takes pole position, Zingy in P2, and then we got Sidewinder in P3. This is the rest of the grid, and then we'll skim through the race director just in case we need to afterwards, of course. 4.6, that would have put Heisler into a P3, so that would have been a Red Bull 3-4, but unfortunately not going to happen today. We'll be back for the race. We'll see you in a bit. Ready, hold, go! Who's gonna get it into turn 1? I do not know. Luke gets away well. Zingy, though, takes the lead and takes the lead as well. Takes the racing line. Contact! Sidewinder! Luke is round. I do not believe it. Making a mistake. That's absolutely crucial. Zingy leads the way by a massive amount, and that's Mizzy into P2 already. Sidewinder not going to be happy with himself. He's got maybe a bit of damage if he's very unlucky. I don't know. It might have just been enough to get away with Niffo up to P3 immediately. Sidewinder, of course, having those issues. They've got both Astons right behind them. That's Heisler having issues as well. So Luke and Heisler, both Dutchmen, are unfortunately down the order, but not too far away to still be in this race, of course. Cisco Eager Pro, they're going to be trying to work together just like a little bit to try and help themselves push their way through. Sidewinder surely has an issue. They've surely got damage. They've just got so much understeer and they're losing out massively. Is Eager Pro going to try and overtake them? Now they're going into the pit lane. He's got to make sure that he judges this. He does, so very, very well done. Does go off the circuit slightly, but does somewhat take avoiding action. That is a lot of smoke puffed up by a car ahead, but no issues or anything. We've got Luke in P6, 2.4 seconds behind Eager Pro, and they are going to be working their way up as fast as they possibly can. Zingy leads the way. Then we got Mizzy getting a phenomenal start on the inside. They went up, swooped through, and that's P2 for them right now. They do have Nifo, who's right behind them, and yes, they are fair way behind Zingy, but when that DRS kicks in, Nifo's going to have a very nice opportunity at starting through. And I know that they don't have practice for this race recently, but they do have a fairly recent setup, of course, when we raced here last. And they as long as they score points, you know, it's still good for the championship, so they can just minimise damage here and maybe not push for Zingy. Although after the race that Zingy had last time around in Monza with the big issues, anything can happen, and even for Nifo, anything can happen. Luckily, it seems like their wheel issues are fixed, but not for Mizzy. Mizzy, unfortunately, loses their front wing. It's not going to be a yellow flag or a safety car, but it is going to be a very sad time there for Mizzy. What a shame. They were running in P2. It was so good. And now that's just going to be an automatic AlphaTauri 1-2 gifted. Then we've got an Aston 3-4 followed closely by a Mercedes. Mizzy's going to have to take it into the pit lane, along with both of the Red Bull drivers, of course, who are trying their best to make it back to the grid somewhat. The strategies may be a little bit different. We'll see if they can get back into this later on. Zingy leads the way by 2.3 seconds. Nifo sits in P2. They've got a long way back to the car behind, so they're loving life right now. Are they going to try and push for their teammate? 2.2 seconds is that gap. Cisco, Eager Pro following closely. Not quite in the DRS. Eager Pro's going to want that. He's really going to want that because that will help him massively if Luke catches up. So if he gets that DRS, he's going to love life. He's going to love it. He does have the DRS. Luke does not have the DRS. That's going to make it so painful. Look at that gap change with Luke and Eager Pro. That is so painful there for Luke to have to see that happen. The DRS train can be very powerful at a circuit like this. Eager Pro is going to get not only another dose of DRS, but once again, as we head to turn 4, the triple DRS, it's all after one another. Then you've got that middle sector, of course, it's just so powerful. Or I guess you should say third sector, so powerful in the corners. Now, we'll see if Luke can have the strength in the corners to catch up. I have all faith in him to be able to do that. That's another pit stop there for Sidewinder, unfortunately. So more issues for the Constructors' Championship leaders. Teams Championship, I should say. Luke trying his best to catch up in the corners off the circuit. Nothing he can do too much at the moment. He does gain time, but it's not really enough at the moment. Cisco not really losing too much to Nifo. Nifo losing a massive amount of time to Zingy as he is asserting his race lead so far in this Grand Prix. Luke does do enough to get DRS, having to make sure he uses a bit of energy to secure it here. Is he going to secure it enough? He will. Lovely, lovely stuff. Went purple in that final sector, I think, in that last lap. So really pushing for it here. He knows what he needs to do now. He can use the DRS to try and catch up to the cars ahead and then try and pick them off one by one. But by being in a bit of a DRS train, it makes it so difficult for it actually to make an overtake. So we'll see if he can get that done. Cisco losing a minimal amount of time to Nifojan ahead. It is pretty much fluctuating back and forward here. But regardless, both AlphaTauris are fairly comfortable. Zingy definitely is. I say that as he goes and gets himself a cheeky 3 seconds, so maybe needs to be careful of the track limits as he tries to maybe go a bit too far. You never know, you never know. Now, Luke, 7 tenths behind, lost a bit of time, but he's still close enough, and he's going to be, once again, pushing to maybe size up a move within the next lap or two. We'll have to wait and see. It really depends. Is EagerPro going to get a bad corner? Will it allow him to execute a possible move? No. He's going to get a pretty solid corner, which will make it really difficult for him to be able to actually threaten at all. Currently, both Astons, of course, running in a position to secure at least one driver on the podium. They're going to want that. Luke's going to want it just as much as well. It's just one of him in the Mercedes and two of them in the Aston. All three Aston, all three Mercedes engines, I should say. Luke can't find a way through just yet. It's not easy at all. Running the race, of course, as well. Currently lap 6 out of 36. The cars are going to be so heavy, which makes it really difficult to throw it through the corners. You just got to make sure that you're better than the other cars around you. Very close to the track limits. Might have even been a warning there for Luke as he does his best. But that's currently a P5 position, and he's slowly getting closer to EagerPro. Might have a chance at a move here, but no, loses the curb traction a bit, and that does mean it's impossible for him to catch. I reckon if he didn't make that mistake then, he'd have probably been able to have a go using not only the ERS, but sending it on the brakes. Very close here, but a short run, a much shorter run than the first straight to be able to actually make a move. And that's going to be that lap pretty much done, unless he can send it into the S section. Alrighty. Zingy kind of slowed down on gaining time to Nifo. They are gaining somewhat, of course. As I say that, they do gain about 2/10. But they do need to be careful on these track limits, of course. We've got of course, Nifo. Then we also have the 3 here. Cisco backing up EagerPro a little bit, which is not ideal. Luke's going to look for the double overtake, and he is going to try and get it done. Has the inside line? No. Avoiding action does Cisco, but EagerPro swoops through. Doesn't have the DRS, so this is crucial. It is crucial that he did stay ahead in that position. DRS not available for Luke either. They were so close into the corner that neither driver actually got the DRS. He's going to get the DRS here. There's no train to make it difficult, and he's just going to try his best to defend, but he didn't defend enough. Luke still sticks his nose in on the inside, has the worst angle of turning. Is the traction still going to be good enough? No, it will not. That is Luke at least up to P4. Cisco loses that position. Absolutely crucial, but more crucial that he's still in this race and going to be able to score points. Otherwise, that would have been pretty much race over if he did try and take it 3 wide into turn 1. He's going to get the DRS, so this will allow him to keep nice and close, but making a few too many mistakes. EagerPro got very close, and they found themselves in a difficult position. This is looking like a very easy opportunity here for Luke, as he's going to have a long straight DRS. No cars ahead to make it difficult. As I said last time, EagerPro's not even going to fight it. That's a yellow for a Red Bull into the braking zone. That is Luke up into P3 podium position. Lovely stuff. Gets the DRS to secure the move. ERS is going to be used by EagerPro. He's keeping with him there. He's keeping, but not going to be threatening him in any kind of way. Cisco still right there, but now that is the Mercedes through. Let's see if we can unleash that pace in the Mercedes, and if he can maybe try and push for Nifo before they make their pit stops. We've got a long way until the pit stops happen though. Going to be about lap 20, I think we're going to be pitting on the hard tyre. I believe that was Sidewinder making a mistake earlier on. Can't quite confirm. But getting the data up, of course, it's a 3 second for the other AlphaTauri. Both getting a 3 second. Maybe Luke, could they try and capitalise on this? They might have a chance. Here we go though. EagerPro's going to come back at him, and he's going to go to the outside. Defensive goes Luke. He really wants to try and go for it, forces the space. He gives him the space. He's got the DRS and a second opportunity at making an overtake. Went purple as he powers through on the outside now. Is he going to be able to get it? One of the camera angles from the game. Lovely, lovely defensive maneuvers there for Luke. He manages to hold on, taking that inside line into turn 4, and EagerPro cannot find any way through. Brilliant, brilliant job there. Was that EagerPro's last attempt at making an overtake, as he used a load of ERS by trying to do that, or not? I don't quite know. He's not exactly losing too much time at the moment either. So very, very nice attempts there from EagerPro. 3 second, of course, both race leaders. Everybody on hards, except from Heisler Mizzy, who are on the mediums, and Sidewinder, who's gone for the soft tyres. Not going to be in a position to make an overtake right now, although they were pushing quite hard on the ERS. They catch up a massive amount towards the end of the straight, but they're not going to be in a position to make an overtake. So they didn't quite commit to making an overtake, but they did use a lot of ERS, which is an interesting strategy, and it can be a costly one if they get it wrong. They're obviously trying to stay within the DRS of Luke right now, but it might be a problem later on. That is another yellow, and that does look, unfortunately, like Sidewinder has more issues. This championship lead, it will probably be joint first with somebody else, but right now it doesn't look like it's helping him in any way. Luke now 4.3 seconds behind Nitho. Hasn't really gained or lost too much time to the cars ahead. Of course, they haven't exactly had it easy. EagerPro's being right behind them. Of course, with the other Aston also right behind. So if they do make a mistake, they're going to be punished by the second Aston Martin. EagerPro not going to be in a position to overtake, and I think that might be it. He used a lot of ERS on his last attempt, and that will probably be that battle done with. Cisco might have a look on his teammate at some point later on into this race. Of course, they were ahead at the beginning of this race, and also qualifying as well. They were at the beginning. Oh, Luke's made a mistake. I didn't even see that. I did not even see that. Harsha leaves the session again. More connection issues. But Luke is round. I do not believe it. That was on the exit of turn 6. Not even to turn 7. They just lost it. Maybe on the curb. Really, really surprising. Loosey-goosey. And they're going to take an early pit stop maybe. They're going to go for an early set of medium tyres. That is going to be a risky one, but it might be their only opportunity here. That does now allow Cisco in P4 to have a nice look at their teammate. They're not going to go for it. EagerPro doesn't go attacking or defensing. Kind of just keeps it not on the curb, but fairly tentative. Not a good enough exit for Cisco for him to be able to take any advantage. Luke is going to that medium tyre, and he is going to try and go for an extreme undercut. So I think maybe did he get a bit of wing damage that he's now gone and fixed, warming up those tyres. Let's see what Luke can find in a little bit. Is he going to be able to use clean air and fresh tyres to his advantage? It's been done in the past. It's been done in the past, I will say. Cisco looking to try and make a move on their teammate at some point, but on that last lap they made a bit of a mistake on the exit of turn 3, and it pretty much made their run completely useless. Of course, we have the 66 car of EagerPro and the 69 car of Cisco, both in the 60s. No one going to be making any overtakes for now, though. We do have, of course, Mizzy in P6. They were fighting with Heisler. Heisler's disconnected, and I don't know if it was a spin or if their AI has gone and made a pit stop for them, which would be like, no, they haven't made a pit stop because obviously they're on an old set of medium tyres. That is a ghost car of Heisler there as he's actually being lapped. He's being lapped by Mizzy. Now, that might be a bug that we saw back in Japan. We did see a bug in Japan where the car that is actually in a correct position all of a sudden is now a lapped car. We'll have to see if that does happen or not. Time will tell, of course, but Heisler might actually still be in 7th position. We do not know. Zingy is in P1 at the moment, a 5.1 second gap. Absolutely mega from him right now, trying to make it safer just in case he gets another time penalty later on. Nifo in P2. They weren't sure about today's race. They were very, very, very worried about actually even starting, let alone finishing this race. And now, in a position that they're in, they just need to cruise to the ends. They don't even need to worry about their teammate right now. Both, Nifo are on 0 points in the championship. So they need to score something, of course, after their technical issues earlier on. That looks like it is Heisler, unfortunately, having more issues. And that is them down far away from Mizzy there. Cisco and Igapro, once again, they are still very close together. Luke is 27 seconds behind, though. 27 seconds is quite a big gap. That might just be the gap, you know. He did spin. There was a bit of a difference between, but usually the pit lane or the gap is only about 18 seconds. Mizzy, unfortunately, making a mistake as well. The further we get into this race, the older the tyres get and the harder it gets to manage. Luke on those fresh tyres going to just try and focus on getting some fast laps in, and he is catching very, very nicely, as you can see, by going for a 7.1 in this race. Lap 16 out of 36. We're on our way to the halfway mark. We still got a couple laps until we see those hard tyres go for their scheduled pit stop. And currently the top 4 are the only guys on that scheduled pit stop, of course. Mizzy and Heisler are very, very close to the other guys' pit stop window, but on the opposite way round. They have already made one pit stop, so they could, in theory, go for a second set of medium tyres if they can extend it enough. If they want to do that, that's a slightly different question. They can get it done, and it's probably the best opportunity. But obviously, if there's a safety car later on, they are taking away from a potential set of medium tyres. At this stage of the race, a safety car isn't looking too likely. That is Cisco in P4, close to their teammate, closer than they were earlier on in this race, but not close enough to make any kind of overtake. 7.0 there. Luke goes once again a little bit quicker as he tries to push to catch up, and he is catching up to these guys. A 24.7 is the current gap. I want to have a quick look at the gap to the leader, which is 37.7. Absolutely massive at the moment. He needs at least 20 seconds to be fighting Zingy by the time he exits this pit lane, of course, because not only will that allow Luke to be ahead, it will allow him to be about a second ahead, because Zingy's tyres are going to be very, very new. It wouldn't be enough for him to be able to get ahead for good and win a race, but currently Luke is very, 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 very far behind at the moment. If the Astons pit, he still won't be ahead of them once they leave the pit lane. At the moment, of course, they don't need to worry, because the difference in tyre at the moment is going to be quite significant towards the end of the race, that the chances are they could get through. The question is, at the end, is it going to get spicy between these two? Who's going to want to go for that podium position? Who wants that podium position more, of course? They are going to have to decide it towards the end of the Grand Prix. Igapro currently leads. Cisco was ahead, though, earlier on, and they were ahead in qualifying. He's currently sat behind. The pit stops are going to be happening within the next few laps, so maybe Cisco's going to want to try and jump ahead. and not exactly hinder his teammate, but have preference over the pit stops, of course. And even if they double stack, he'll have an advantage over his teammate. Is he going to try and push for an overtake here, or is he going to let him go? He is pushing on the ERS, but he hasn't got enough to actually go for a move. These guys are pretty much matched at the moment. IgaPro, earlier on we saw he had a lot of energy, and he still has a lot of energy in that car. We have at least another lap until we make the scheduled pit stop, but these guys, of course, because they have the gap to the car behind Luke, of course, with the slightly older tyres, they could go longer, but also someone needs to go a little bit earlier into the pit lane than the other. Now, if IgaPro doesn't do that, will Cisco go and do it instead? We'll have to wait and see. Here we go. This is going to be the moment of truth. Is IgaPro going for it? No, they will not. Cisco is going to go for it. They do stay within the lines, of course. Lovely, lovely stuff. Cisco into the pit lane. So is Nifo. They've gone for the early stoppers. Zingy decided he wasn't going to. So, taking those opportunities while they can, of course. There's going to be a nice undercut opportunity here for Cisco. Will it be enough? I don't quite know. Of course, as it being such a high-speed circuit, you lose a minimal amount of time, of course, by going for an overcut. So it could be an idea for an overcut strategy. We'll have to wait and see. Usually, you don't want to go too far under, because it's not really that much of an advantage. From my experience, at least, I think I pitted lap 14 in the past, and it just wasn't an advantage at all, which did not work. Now, Cisco out in P4 at the moment, going to have to get their tyres warmed up and try and maybe get an undercut. I know it's their teammate, but they still want to get that podium. It would be nice, wouldn't it? Both AlphaTauris having their time penalties, regardless, doesn't really matter at this stage of the race. Now, it's 23 seconds behind, isn't it, though? Not 23 seconds. My bad there. Not that far away, of course. Zingy decides to stay out. And I understand that. He's got a big gap. He can stay out a little bit longer. Make sure he has nice fresh tyres towards the end, of course. IgaPro goes to the pit lane. Now the question is, you can see Cisco in the background as he comes out the final corner. Where will IgaPro be, though, as they come round turn 1? Who's going to jump ahead? It is going to be Cisco, I reckon. He's going to have slightly warmer tyres. Got the ERS, got the run. That is IgaPro trying to make it a drag race as they head up to turn 3. Amazing stuff. He doesn't have the tyre temperature to fight for it. That is Cisco ahead. IgaPro will have one lap pressure tyres later on into this race, but at the moment that is trap position to Cisco, and that is a very nice situation for him to be in. He's going to try his best to push here. IgaPro still struggling to get temperature into those tyres. Meanwhile, Zingy's taken it to the pit lane. Luke is 2.6 seconds behind these guys. His tyres are nice and warm. They've still got a bit of life in them left, of course, but it's going to be tough. By pitting now, they wouldn't lose any positions to any car behind, so what they can do here is stay out, go for a fastest lap at the end of the race, nab that extra point, and that will be very nice for them. Niffa goes for 6.7, fastest lap of the race, no surprise there. Zingy is about 4.3 seconds. They're going to lose a little bit more time, of course, as they head into the braking zone, because Niffo's tyres are going to be nice and toasty compared to Zingy's. But other than that, he'll probably start to gain a little bit more very shortly. Not immediately. I wasn't expecting that, Niffo. Come on. I'm joking. P1, P2, both AlphaTauris loving this at the moment. 2 laps advantage does Zingy have over pretty much everyone, at least. IgaPro, he doesn't have that 2 lap advantage, of course, but still, Niffo, who is the closest threat at this stage, he's got a 2 lap advantage over. Both on the same amount of time penalties. Mizzy, I believe, also has 3 seconds. Cisco in P3, IgaPro not able to get within the DRS right now, but from what we saw earlier on, they do seem to have somewhat of an ERS advantage. This energy advantage will allow him to close up a little bit, and he's choosing to do that now. Didn't get the DRS on the start-finish straight, but he's going to secure it as we head into turn 1 on the exit of turn 1. There it is. There's the button. Now it's time to go racing once again. Come on, let's get it. Lap 23 out of 36. Of course, he's improving more and more, of course, as these tyres get slightly more warmed up. This is going to be... it's a little bit more exciting than it seems, actually, I think, because Cisco was ahead. Eager Pro, he was ahead later on into this race. Who deserves it more? I do not know. Eager Pro, of course, racing back in Monza. I believe Cisco missed out, if I remember correctly. So Cisco doesn't have any points to his name. He wants to have everything he possibly can. Eager Pro, I believe, might have got a podium. So that could be a possible 2 podiums in a row if he judges it right, of course. We'll have to wait and see. Over the track limits a little bit. These guys got to be careful, of course. Otherwise, they could be under a big threat from Luke. However, Luke, he's going to have to pit again, it looks like. The pace advantage that these guys have on these special tyres and the potential for a puncture later on into this race for Luke is just going to be so difficult to manage. Eager Pro currently just trying to find their bearings, get these tyres warmed up, and then spot an overtaking opportunity. They don't need to rush it. We got lots of laps to go in this race, and they're not going to be pitting. This is going to be the only situation that they're in. They're just going to be following their teammate. Once they spot a mistake from their teammate, then they can capitalize on it. They can also notice if they're going to try and break away, use a bit of VRS to stay with them. Just manage the pressure on the car ahead. Keep it maintained. Maybe Cisco would make a mistake. But as their teammates, where do you feel that pressure? It definitely depends on how these guys race each other. We know that these guys are usually very, very fair with one another from past experience. They never get in each other's way. They've always had some very, very nice clean battles. Eager Pro was close. He loses the car a little bit on the rear, but he's pushing for the overtake. He might go for it into the corner. He looks like he's going to send it, but no, he's not quite close enough. There's contact! I do not believe it! That was so close. That's just as I was talking about it. A slight mistake. Eager Pro is going to be furious with himself for that one. I hope he doesn't have damage. That would have been such a disappointing way to end a battle like that. If he does have damage now, I thought he was going to completely, absolutely destroy him there, but manages to keep it in a straight line to Cisco. Not easy at turn 3 when you lose the rear on that bump, and you lose it even more because you've been tagged by somebody behind. Luckily, it's all good to go. Now, does maintain a nice gap to the car ahead, and they will have a second opportunity, so I guess they just have to think, no harm done, no hard feelings, we'll just forget about it and carry on racing, of course. Gonna get a nice amount of DRS. Is he gonna push for the overtake again? Last time around, he lost the car on the rear, used DRS to try and catch up, but decided not to go for it, but broke too late anyway, so he decided a little bit wrong. That's what caused that issue. He's pushing on the ERS a little bit, but once again, not enough to go for an overtake. He's just sat there and waiting for now. Cisco currently struggling for energy compared to his teammate, so this could be a bit of a problem if he's not careful later on into this race. Meanwhile, Zingy, he's extending almost a 6-second gap on his teammate, so in theory, right now, he could get another 6 seconds on top of that 3 seconds. He could have a 9-second time penalty and still win this race. At the moment, he'd be 1 tenth behind, but of course, if he does get that to a 6-second gap, he will be able to do that if he really wanted to. It's not worth it, but it could happen if he really desired it. Now, Cisco leads the way. Eager Pro nice and close. He looks like he's going to have a go into turn 1 maybe. No, he's just once again trying to keep the pressure on his teammate. His teammate not really too phased. Did lose the car on the rear a little bit, but that might just be something that happens here. at turn 3. Luke gets a 3 second as he pushes the track limits a little bit too much. Is he going to try just to stay out? I assume not. It's not really worth it if you can score some extra fastest lap points, of course. Enjoy those nice, fresh, soft tyres towards the end of the race. It's not what he wanted. But unfortunately, after the contact into turn 1, it did make it very, very difficult. And of course, he had the second issue. So I think if he didn't have that major issue, maybe he would have been able to challenge for a potential P2. Zingy is very far ahead though, and not making too many mistakes, so it's pretty good. Eager Pro is going to go for an overtake here, and it looks like it's going to be pretty straightforward. Cisco will not fight it too hard. He's not going to keep his nose out. He's going to still stick it in. He might want to try and go for a comeback here. Gets the DRS, gets the ERS deployed, what he can of it anyway, as he's going to go to the inside line. Will he get the move done? Eager Pro has the outside line on the traction. Will he have enough? Did he hit that curb? No. Loses it, and that's going to be Cisco through. Brilliant, brilliant defensive maneuvers there from Cisco. Cisco manages to immediately take that position back. That is exactly what you want to see when racing. Well done to him. Lovely stuff. Zingy, in the meantime of that battle, gone and got himself a 6-second time penalty. So he has got to be very careful. Can't miss that too many times. He's been a bit cheeky on the track limits. Once again, Eager Pro is very, very close. They want to try and find a way through, but they can't just yet. They're going to go for a second opportunity as they see now. Cisco's red light is flashing, goes to the outside line this time. Cisco is going to try and send it back on the inside. No, not worth it with your teammate. They're just going to let them go. Say, fair enough. You've got that one. DRS is available. Is he really going to try and fight it again? He's going to go to the inside line. We're going to get a bit of deja vu. Is Eager Pro going to try and swoop around the outside? Will he lose it? He has been in better traction this time. Not the advantage track position-wise, though. Going to have to give in. That's a yellow, and that's an Alpha Tauri. No, it's not an Alpha Tauri. It is a Red Bull who makes a mistake. Both Red Bulls, no, one Red Bull looking to go into the pit lane. I thought that was an Alpha Tauri having an issue then, but no, it is just one of the Red Bulls. That Sidewinder looking for a possible, a possible fastest lap. That is a yellow flag penalty for ignoring yellow flags to Nifo. A 5-second time penalty. That is a very interesting one. Probably not legit, will he get removed? Here we go once again. For the third time, he's going to attempt this same overtake. Goes to the outside line. Cisco, I assume you know what he's going to try and do. Is Eager Pro even going to try and defend it? He's got the ERS, got the DRS. ERS is pretty much done. Is he going to try and send it to the outside? This time, Eager Pro stays ahead, goes slightly defensive to prevent him from sending it to the inside line. And he does maintain that position. DRS will be available for Cisco very, very shortly. Other than that, that is Eager Pro into P3. Well done there. Lovely, lovely, lovely stuff. The Eager Pro finally gets through. His teammate gave it a very, very nice fight. Despite having no ERS, he's surprisingly competitive in a straight line. DRS available. ERS, he's trying to spam it. Is the straight long enough for him to be able to challenge into turn 3? Is he going to be confident in sending it? Eager Pro goes defensive. Doesn't try to go for it. Goes for the switchback maneuver. DRS once again available, of course. And on this straight, it looked like he had somewhat of an advantage. He does have enough of an advantage to take the position. Takes the racing line. That's absolutely incredible. Misses his braking point though. A good exit could be secured here from Eager Pro. No. Thought he might have been able to challenge back, but it wasn't enough. Amazing, amazing, amazing battle here as we come to the final stages of this race. Lovely stuff between these two, giving us a nice battle while it lasts. Brilliant. Nice and respectful, of course. These guys have to do that. They are both in that green car. If they don't, there's going to be some awkward moments on track, of course. They've got to be so cautious with it. Cisco now leads the way. Eager Pro, is he going to try and say, you know what, I'm going for the move now. I've got the ERS advantage. See in a bit. No, he will not. He's going to save it a bit. He's not exactly looking like he's got an excess amount. However, Cisco, he's got that red flashing light, so it's not exactly easy for him. He's using everything that he can do. Eager Pro also using a little bit. He's got the DRS, but he's not going to be able to make an overtake. And that is Cisco holding on to this position. I thought Eager Pro was going to have an easy chance at making this move with that ERS. But actually, I think I'm wrong. You know, I think I'm wrong. I don't think it's going to be quite so straightforward. Cisco is very competitive despite not having an ERS. The straights are long enough for him to be able to catch up to Eager Pro by the time we get to the braking zone. Currently, it looks like track position is an advantage to Cisco. Usually, you'd want to be right behind and then go for an overtake on the last few laps, but track position seems to be something that Cisco's liking right now. He's loving life at the moment. We've got, of course, Sidewinder, Heischler both onto that soft tyre. We do have the Red Bull trying to unlap themselves as they are on the inside line trying to minimize impeding the other cars around them. So they are doing the right thing by trying to move out the way. They do need to make the overtake, though, if they want to go for it. Eager Pro not going to be able to challenge. They do miss their braking point a little bit. Now, the blue flag car might have a chance to get through in the corners, but I'm not quite sure. The soft tyres are probably going to overheat so much that it will be virtually impossible for him to actually go for it, and I don't believe it! I do not believe it! Once again, Nippo is out, this time 3 laps to the end of the Grand Prix. Oh my god, no way. Into turn 9, I don't know what's happened there. It's like they broke the curb and just lost complete control. No way did that just happen. That is a very strange kind of crash there for Nippo Jan. That is once again another... Oh my god, another DNF. I do not believe it. Side by side, it is for Cisco and Eager Pro. Eager Pro decides to go for it now. I want that now. It's a P2, not a P3. Both getting on the podium for both Astons. He just wants to secure it. He was thinking, no, you know what, you have it. No, I'll have it. Now, he wants it. He wants everything that he possibly can have out of this one. Absolutely incredible stuff at the end. That is not what we want to see for Nippo. 2 DNFs in a row. Arguably, that one wasn't their fault either. It looks like such a crazy crash for them to actually be in control of that car. So that's another technical failure. And currently, Season 10 is not looking too fun for them. Zingy starts the penultimate lap. These guys start the penultimate lap of the race. We've got Luke going on to a set of soft tyres, of course, as well, to try and hunt down that fastest lap. Let's see what we can find here. DRS is available. ERS somewhat is available once again for Cisco. Gaining to the end of the straight, but no. This time, not going to be close enough to make an overtake. Has to really send it on the throttle here if he wants to go for a move into turn 4. He's close. He's very close. He will have a look at going for a move. He's going to go to the inside line. Once again, Eager Pro not defending too hard with his teammate. It does open an opportunity, but Eager Pro this time gets a very nice exit, has the energy advantage, and is still in the lead of this battle. We've got one more lap to go, and we will see who is going to be finishing ahead. Eager Pro or Cisco. They're virtually equal on ERS at the moment. I do not believe it. They both use the ERS, pushing each other to the limits. Who is gonna be advanced or victorious out of this battle? Eager Pro leads the way. Cisco in P2. They don't have track position. They do not have the advantage that they had earlier on, but they do have the DRS. They will try and push for it. DRS available. ERS pushing of what they have left in the tank. Are they going to get there in time for the braking zone? Egapro goes defensive. He's not going to leave any possible chance for Cisco to go for the move. Here we go into the braking zone. Turn 4. Will it be possible? No. Egapro has the straight line speed. He has the advantage trying to sweep around the outside of Cisco, but it's not there. He's not far enough. Egapro will lead. That is amazing. Zingy comes around the final corner. We see him for the second time this race, and he wins the Austrian Grand Prix with a lovely celebration, burning up those tyres. Egapro still holds on, and that is surely going to be a secured P2 for the Serbian. That is amazing. An incredible battle for these guys. Very, very nice to see. And both drivers get on the podium. Aston Martin, a 2-3 for them. Lovely, lovely stuff. Luke, not what he wanted, but he will get that extra fastest lap in the end. And he will finish the race. An extra promotion, of course, after Nifo getting that DNF. Absolutely incredible. He'll take it. He'll take it, I'm sure. Mizzy getting a P5. Getting a little bit excited on that final corner on the final lap. But they will still finish this race and score 10 points. Lovely stuff. Sidewinder in P6 and Heiter, of course, having those desync issues. Not sure what will happen with those later on. Absolutely mental. I do not believe what I've just seen. The last two races, despite having not too many people on the grid, they've been absolutely controversial, I think is to say the least. Pretty controversial. Wow, wow, wow. Now, Zingy goes and secures his first win of the season, and a driver of the day to Egapro there. I think that's very well deserved. This guy, though, does deserve a shout for driver of the day. He drove a perfect race. Yes, maybe got a couple of time penalties, but other than that, he was good to go. He had the advantage of being able to extend, of course, his pit strategy. Zingy takes the win. We got Egapro in P2, Cisco in P3. We got Luke, Mizzy, Sidewinder, Heisler in P7, and then classed as finished is Nifo in P8. We'll skim through the race director just in case if we need to later on. Absolutely. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I'm sorry to repeat myself. I do not believe what just happened. Zingy wins. We'll be back for the post-race interviews. We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to the post-race interviews of the Austrian Grand Prix. That was pretty eventful, to be honest. I'll admit, we start the interviews with this guy. Cisco, very, very, very nice battle. You go and take a P3. Are you happy with that or a little bit disappointed that it wasn't a P2?
Well, I think I'm really happy about it because I think Igor was just a bit faster and he got me 2 laps from the end and I just couldn't catch him back. But it was awesome battles and double podium for the team.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. That's what we love to see. Yeah, well done. I mean, I guess, of course, the last few laps, there was the issue from another driver, which allowed you to be promoted. So I guess, you know, you've both secured a P3 anyway, and the P2 is just an extra bonus. Really, really well done there. Lovely battling, so thank you very much for a great...
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you very much for that one. The next race, I believe, is Mexico.
I can race the next
like
race, I'm sorry.
Anyway?
Mexico, it was like a neutral track for me. I just don't dislike it and I don't really love it. So.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe a race in 3 words?
Really awesome battles.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you. See ya.
We move on to Haisha. Haisha, that was frustrating, of course. Had some pretty big connection issues. It's what we've seen in the past back at Japan. We saw it with Cisco, actually. We will just reinstate the position. Can you take us through the rest of the race, if possible?
I don't know, to be honest. There's not a lot to talk about, only that my race is just the only thing that happened were crashes, like me on track or the game itself. So don't have something to say on it.
Okay.
Quite funny that I just watched a video of Limitless about how shit this game is before the race.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate the way it goes, and sometimes I don't know why it just picks on certain drivers.
Yeah,
don't know why. It just does it.
Yeah, I know.
it's a real big shame. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Mexico. Do you like that circuit?
At the moment, I just don't like anything anymore in this game.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, that said, one last question. How do you think you can describe the race in 3 words?
Boycott this game.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
And we move on to Mizzy. Mizzy, P2 out of turn 1. That was quite nice. Good experience, I guess, for tomorrow's race. Are you confident for tomorrow? And can you take us through today's race a little bit?
Yeah, pretty boring race from my side because I was racing on my own the whole time basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, since I'm not used to no ABS, it was quite hard to do certain corners, but I just tried to keep it consistent out of the walls, and yeah, it was pretty decent, and I'm looking forward for tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think even with the ABS assist off, do you think that's some good experience for tomorrow? Are you confident that you can score some more good points?
Yeah, I'm confident. I was maybe 6/10 off the pace usually because I was looking up into the hairpin every single lap. I could not look up into that corner, so I was losing a lot of time there. But yeah, I practiced a lot, so I hope tomorrow is gonna be better than today.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. One last question. Not one last question. Mexico, the next track. Do you like that circuit more than Austria?
I like the circuit, but it's very hard to be good at it. The corners are very hard to nail, so
yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's like driving on ice. Well done today. Wish you all the best tomorrow. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
ABS is dookie.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
And we move on to Nifo. I don't really know what to say, unfortunately. another race, the same fate. Extremely disappointing. Yeah, can you explain to us what happened?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the whole race itself, I had to sacrifice a lot to be there. So, and I didn't. I had literally zero practice. So, like my practice laps were those quality laps, which were on itself not so great. But I was expecting that, seeing as it was my first practice. I had a setup which I didn't know if it was good because it was from several months ago. I didn't know the fuel. But yeah, I just went ahead. I mean, I had nothing to lose. I was P8, I was just there to minimize the damage I was gonna have for not racing and just get some points,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I head into that race. The lights go out, and I'm P3 into turn 2 or 3, I think 3. Which was, I think it was one of my best starts I've ever had on this game. I mean, with a bit of luck with the collision of one of the Mercedes, but whatever, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the McLaren in front of me spun, and then it was just me on my own, just trying to catch up the Zingy, which is on itself quite impossible. But seeing as I had no practice, it was even more impossible. So I just tried, and I don't know. I was just driving my heart out, really, just practicing different things in corners, seeing what works, what does not. And in the end, I thought I had a balance. I think he built about 5 seconds on me that race, but I mean, I was quite happy with it, seeing how little practice and how not concentrated I was. I had to watch a lot of things, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then heading into the second to last turn, my wheel just decided to freeze. So I was full throttle, no steering input. I just went into the wall. I instantly went to the pause button, tried to let my AI do something, and then because for some reason the wheel decided to turn back on the moment I pressed the pause button, and then my AI doesn't brake enough, so I tried to brake myself, and even that wasn't enough. I mean, I went 310 kph into that wall, so just my wheels off, and yeah, I mean, that's it basically. It's the same issue I had a Monza, and I mean, that if that shit lost championship, I had no DNFs, or lost it anyway. So if I have 2 DNFs at the beginning of the season, 2 races in, and I'm gonna probably miss some more races, it doesn't look too well.
It's not ideal, it's not easy, but Max Verstappen DNF'd the first few races of 2022, so never say never. Yeah, it's a shame, and it looks like it's a technical, maybe even a wheelbase issue. But it seemed to be done in a slightly different way as what happened last time. You said everything disconnected on the time before, but this time it was only the wheel. So that's incredibly weird. I thought it was fixed, but apparently not. Mexico, if the wheel wasn't to fail you, do you like that circuit?
I mean, seeing previous experiences, it seems to not get better because I was extremely off pace last time. I had to rely on luck in that track. I'm not very good at it. It's again low downforce, which I'm not good at. And as you said, the wheel will definitely put me in the wall in the middle of the race, so it won't matter that much anyway.
Yeah, it's a shame, and I am very sorry to see it, but yeah, hopefully we can get it fixed. Thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
It's a joke.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
Zingy, that is a very, very nice P1. First P1 of the season, only took you 2 races this time. Are you happy with that one?
I don't know if that's an insult or a compliment.
It's a sarcastic joke. It's
I
not
don't know what
either. It's just in between. Take it as well.
I believe that. I mean, this is possibly one of the best starts of the season I could have had. I didn't win the first race, sorry, no. I'm getting ahead of myself. I didn't win the first race, and this race I rocked up. For some reason, of course, if I didn't practice, it was going to be a few tenths off me anyway. But even with minimal practice on my side as well, I felt very confident for some reason. I think Austria is one of those tracks that clicks for me. During that race, I managed to get into a rhythm, pull the gap out to about 5 seconds. And basically, all I done was I controlled it from there. I seen Niffle put onto the mediums, and you guys know my high tire or something at times, so I stayed out on the hards, and then those medium tires really propelled me towards that dominant win. And I do feel sorry for Niffle. I mean, he should have got P2 by a country mile, whatever. He should have got P2, but that's the second time it's happened, so I hope he can fix it for next time.
Yeah, it's a shame, but on your side, well done. Very well deserved. Mexico, do you like that circuit?
Well, how did I do there last time? I think I don't remember.
You did win it. You were fighting very close with Luke for a while.
Oh yeah, and they bottled it. Yeah. So I think I can win Mexico. I can keep this good form going, and I think I don't know if I'm championship leader. I think I might be. Unless it's one of the Aston Martins. It might be one of the Aston Martins, is it? Because they're just consistent.
I think it is you, because you got a P3 and then a P1.
Okay. Well, let's hope that. Well, I don't need to hope because I know I'm going to. But for next race anyway, I'm going to try even harder and I'm going to win it. But even more this time.
Awesome. Thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words? Ran out of brain cells. Thank you very much anyway. And we'll see you next time. Well done today. That's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you tomorrow for the F1.5 Championship. And we'll see you next weekend for the Mexican Grand Prix. Other than that, once again, thank you very much. And good night.